Mavericks. I'm here with Chris Coombs to celebrate his 20-year anniversary with Maverick. Chris, welcome. And what brought you to Maverick in the first place?
Well, let's see. I graduated school in 1999, and started as a customer service associate under Teresa Chris back in the late 90s.
Very good. So customer service associate, what all did that entail?
A lot of things that we don't do now. Well, maybe some, but, a lot of recording of directions, a lot of calling customers to see if consignees are open or verifying hours and things like that. Back in the day, we colored maps, literally with highlighters and whatnot, for the ALM areas, so we could hand those out to all the CSRs back at that time. They could see how the areas were divided.
Very cool. Yeah, I kind of have some memories of the paper maps. That's pretty good. Rand McNally atlases, I think those are pretty much out today, but good stuff. Then you move up to CSR. What were some of the areas you managed as a CSR?
So I remember after CSA, going to CSR, I dispatched the state of Texas. So that would have been like the TXN, TX areas is what Maverick calls them and still does today. That only 2 areas of Texas, but now I think it's 4. But yeah, a lot of dispatches from Houston up north and Dallas up north and those general areas.
You left for a couple of years after that, and you came back in 2007. What brought you back to Maverick?
Yeah, I left Maverick for a short period of time, some personal stuff going on, but things, like often is the case, it didn't work out, right? So I was able to come back, left on good terms, thank goodness. And after a year and a half to 2 years, reached out to Doug and, a couple other people, and they welcomed me back, and I was glad to come back, and, been back since.
Good deal. We're certainly glad you did come back, and it's my understanding you moved to the floater role, where I assume you're doing all the different logistics areas. What happened after that?
So after dispatching, in the floater role and getting my feet wet a little bit in all the areas handled at the corporate office here in North Little Rock, Jay Thomas gave me the opportunity to be a manager of some, CSRs at the time, now ALMs, and did that for about 4 or 5 years, I think 5 years or so. But like he once told me, you got to have your first chance sometime, and I'm really grateful for that.
That's great. No, that's good. Chris and I have worked closely together, even when you were managing an OTR, and I have good memories of you helping set up Warehouser and some other key accounts back in those days, and definitely appreciated your assistance with that. Chris, then you took another chance, and you moved up to dedicated, and I think it was in 2016. Tell us a little bit about that move.
Yeah, so, Jay and I worked well together, very well, for what I think is 5 or 6 years, somewhere in that range. I think I had expressed that, maybe I was looking for a little bit more, maybe a different opportunity, and at that time, dedicated was thriving. Business opportunities were coming up left and right. So, yourself and Keith Archer gave me the opportunity to come up and be an ops manager, back in, I want to say, towards the end of 2016. And it was just a whirlwind of events starting out of the gates there. So, it was funny. I remember I came up, Chris, let's go to lunch, and that happened for 2 or 3 days. I think there was a new employee in there that I was managing, and I was like, man, this is great. Go to lunch every day. But soon after, about 2 weeks into it, I found myself down there in Dallas at a Home Depot DC with Keith Archer talking to a set of drivers that basically were just meeting, basically like we're taking over and this is how it's going to be, and we're going to be working for weeks to get things caught up here, and it was just an eye opener. And I remember just almost living in Dallas for the first 6 months down there. Obviously coming home a little bit, but a lot of time spent in Dallas. It was exciting times for sure.
Well, that's great. That's a good part of our history for sure, and Dallas is a big part of what we do today. So definitely appreciate your contributions to that effort, Chris. After that, it wasn't very much long after that, and you said whirlwind, which is how I recollect that time period. We started what we call regional short haul, and you have stepped up to be the leader of that group. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we started off with what we call now is an RTX division. So regional Texas, when I took over, maybe it was 25 drivers to 30 drivers, somewhere in there. But it's since grown to 50 plus now, and doing well and thriving down there in Texas and Louisiana. But since just in the last 3 years, we've got now 5 regional groups. So we've got one in regional Tennessee, another one in the Carolinas, another one in the Midwest in Indiana, RIN, and another in Ohio, ROH, totaling about 160 to 170 drivers.
Yeah, no, that's great, Chris. And you've had a big hand in that, working with sales, our account managers, et cetera. Really appreciate your efforts and your leadership in this area. It's been a very fast-paced growth, but it's been very good. And I think I want to be one of those to say thank you for your efforts on that for sure. Chris, what would you say the thing that you like the best about what you do now?
Well, what I like to say to that is, when I came up here 4 or 5 years ago, my primary focus was on customers, and that's no doubt my strong suit to this day, without a doubt. And I like that. I enjoy still working with customers, but now I feel like a more complete worker, as I love working with all the other departments, touching on payroll a little bit, maintenance, whatever the case. So I think I've got more of a complete understanding on just how logistics and transportation works. So it's been a fantastic ride here the last 5 years.
Great. Well, Chris, when you're not working, which you do work very hard, and we appreciate, what do you like to do outside of Maverick?
Yeah, so free time. I went through with my wife about this last night, and she joked with me, what free time? So, we got 2 young ones and an older one at home, and I think our free time, it's safe to say, is running around to Little League fields and soccer fields and gymnastics and things like that. But for sure, without a doubt, if anybody knows me, I'm trying to sneak out to the golf course when I can. And, of course, my plan is try to get the 2 younger kids in the golf, so it gives me an excuse to go golfing with them, and I don't get penalized from the dad sense.
I think I heard that maybe you have tickets to the PGA Tour. Is that right? No, I wish so. I don't think so. I'm not that good. I'm losing my game a little bit. It's still fun. All right. Very good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Coombs, we're celebrating 20 years. Congratulations, yeah. Chris. Thank you for all that you do for Maverick, for Dedicated, and we really appreciate your service to the company. Have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it, Justin.